This weekend, I watched live for the first time the New Jersey Symphony. It was very interesting because the concert had a very unconventional program, an amazing violin soloist, and amazing guest conductor. In this video, you will find the full review of the concert, my personal experience. You will get to know a bit more about the composers, the pieces, so stay tuned until the end. First, let's get to know more about the artist. Lina González-Granados, conductor. Lina González-Granados is a groundbreaker. She's not only one of the most exciting conductors today, but she's also a huge inspiration for women and Latin American musicians breaking into the world of orchestral conducting. Born in Colombia, just like me, she has built an international career conducting major orchestras and championing both contemporary and traditional repertoire. Seeing her lead the New Jersey Symphony with so much grace, precision, and depth was a huge inspiration for me. Vadim Gluzman, violin soloist. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This is a free way for you to support my work to continue doing these reviews and previews of classical music concerts. Vadim Gluzman is a violinist whose artistry bridges the great traditions of the past with a bold, modern voice. Born in the Soviet Union and raised in Israel, he plays on the 1619 ex-Leopold Auer Stradivarius. And I got the opportunity of meeting him behind stage, and he told me he also performed with a Piccat violin bow. And for me, that's the perfect combination: Italian violin and French orchestra. New Jersey Symphony. The New Jersey Symphony has been the cornerstone of the state's musical life for over a century. Known for their versatility and commitment to both classical and contemporary works, they bring passion, professionalism, and precision to every performance. Under Lina's leadership, they showcased exactly why they're such an essential part of the region's cultural scene. Like, comment, and share this video so it can reach more people that enjoy and love classical music. Now, let's dive into the program. I said at the beginning of the video that the program was a bit unconventional because usually you have in a classical music concert, you have some kind of overture or a short piece, then you have the soloist of the evening, then you have an intermission, and then you have a symphony. But this program wasn't like that. First, they started by a long piece that's kind of like a symphony, but it's not really a symphony. You will learn why in just a moment because I'm going to explain that. By Robert Schumann. Then they did a contemporary piece by Gabriela Ortiz Clara. Then there was an intermission, and they ended with Brahms Violin Concerto. So, as I said, it's unconventional because it doesn't contain the traditional structure of the program, but I found it very interesting and I personally enjoyed it more with the violin concerto at the end. So let me explain to you a bit of each of the pieces and what I thought about them. Robert Schumann, Overture, Scherzo, and Finale. This piece is often called a symphony without a slow movement, and it's full of contrast and momentum. The Overture immediately grabs you with these soaring lines. The Scherzo dances with energy, and the finale drives everything home with an exhilarating finish. What I personally loved about this performance was the clarity that Lina brought with the orchestra. Schumann's orchestrations can sometimes feel really dense, but I felt that with this performance, every voice had its place. Also, the orchestra made this piece feel light and full of warmth. Gabriela Ortiz Clara. First, a bit about the composer and then about the performance. Gabriela Ortiz is one of Mexico's most celebrated composers today. Her music is a fusion of traditions, combining classical technique with influences from folk, jazz, and contemporary sounds, and often explore themes of identity, memory, and history. The Clara is a powerful piece that imagines a conversation between Clara and Robert Schumann across time. Ortiz made a rhythmic motif throughout the music, almost like a heartbeat, guiding us through the shifting emotions. The oboe theme represents Clara's inner world, delicate yet persistent. What struck me the most was the way that music blurred the past and the present, as if they were stepping inside a dream where memories and realities came together. And I also felt that it was very unique the way that she made that the piece was an entire movement, but you can clearly hear the different tempos or the different kind of movement she has, but without any pause between them. So that makes the music feel like it's in a constant movement, like a constant wave. I felt that very interesting, and I personally really enjoyed it, and I had never heard her music live before, so from now on, I'm a big fan of Gabriela Ortiz. Right before we continue with the last piece of the concert, I would love to read you in the comments. Tell me if you have heard any of these pieces in live. What is the piece of music that you listen to and kind of transports you to a different world? Please let me know in the comments and I will be reading you. Johannes Brahms Violin Concerto in D major, Opus 77. Brahms Violin Concerto is a monumental work, majestic, lyrical, and technically demanding. It was written for Joseph Joachim, one of the greatest violinists of the 19th century, and it's filled with both symphonic grandeur and personal expression. One of the most important and famous violin concertos in all the violin repertoire, and performing it with the symphony orchestra demands a high level of professionalism and skill. Vadim Gluzman's interpretation tonight was extraordinary. His sound was full and warm, never overpowering but always commanding. The first movement was bold and expansive. The adagio felt like an intimate conversation, especially between the oboe that has a huge solo at the beginning of the second movement and the violin. In the third movement, the finale, pure fire, with his Hungarian-inspired rhythms. Watching him bring this piece to life was a true highlight of the night. The violin concerto, hearing this live with the orchestra, the conductor, the soloist in that particular space was my favorite part of the evening. Of course, I'm violinist, so I'm kind of looking forward more to hearing a violin soloist, but I still believe that getting a chance to listen to world-class musicians live is definitely an experience that is worth it, and I recommend you to continue going to the concerts live. There's nothing that can replace the experience that you have when you enjoy live classical music. Please tell me if you enjoyed this video, comment below, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to continue going to classical music concerts. See you in the next video. Bye!